Hi everybody, it's me, Miss Jessica lwhor, and we're back with another Jess Talk. And this time, I'm already feeling the heat and the fire because we're talking about picky eaters, okay? Picky eaters, point blank, period. But before we get into this episode, make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the bell for notifications. Come on, let's get those subscribers up, baby. We see you watching, we see you listening. Now hit the buttons because we're on all platforms. Okay, picky eaters, let's get into it.
Attention lwhor, attention lwhor, attention lwhor, attention. Here I am walking down the street, seeing all the boys trying to take a peek. Shorts pulled up and chest out right. Come on, boys, just take a bite. Look but don't touch, spin it round and round. Crazy.
All right, so let me do a little bit of a backstory because I don't want to say that I used to be a picky eater, but I do remember a point in my life, like most kids in general, they see something weird, they smell something weird, something they've never looked at before. They're like, oh, I don't want to try this. I don't want to eat this, which is pretty common, okay, for younger kids to kind of go through that phase. And I had weird household rules in some ways that kind of helped push me out of that. And that's kind of where I want to start this journey. So if we were picky, me and my sisters were picky, we didn't like something, we didn't want to eat something. We kind of had a rule that we had to try it once if it was on the dinner table. And if we didn't want any more, then we didn't have to have any more. But we did have to try it. And I'm not opposed to that rule. Like, I kind of like that. Like, you're a kid. You've never tried it before. Put it in your mouth. It may look weird, but like give it a chance and then try it. However, if you tried it and liked it or liked it enough to ask for more, you had to eat what you asked for. So if you wanted 2 extra scoops or if you wanted to fill your plate or if whatever, don't waste it. Like that was like the follow-up rule to the picky eating. Try it once, don't like it, you don't have any more. But if you do like it and you want more, you have to eat whatever you take, which I think is pretty reasonable. It kind of helps with the idea of like not wasting food, being responsible for like what your eyes are bigger than your stomach if you get full. Like, and here's the thing, my dad would sit with us all fucking night at the table. This man was like unbreakable when it came to this. If we got food and then we decided not to eat it, he would sit with us and it would get cold and we'd have to sit there until we ate it. And it would go into the wee hours of the night sometime. It was ridiculous. We ended up getting creative. Me and my sisters, I remember one time there's a story of my sister putting pizza underneath the couch, or not the chair cushion, because we had kitchen chairs with cushions. So she would like hide the pizza under there because she didn't really want to eat it. She was like a weird or picky eater at the time. I always remember spitting food into napkins. Like I was wiping my mouth and then putting the napkins in my pocket so that I could get rid of the food, or like trying to go to the bathroom and then spitting it in the toilet or something like that. So I was creative in some ways as a kid for sure. But I feel like we always went out to eat at restaurants that generally had kids items. So fries, chicken tenders, stuff like that. But that lasted for a very short time. I think the idea of my dad forcing this, and I don't give him praise for many things, but this is one of the things that I definitely would. Oh shit, can I have a ring? This is going to bother me.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
Did you miss one?
Yeah. So this is one of the things that I would give him praise for, and I don't give him praise for many things, is that he would make us try different foods, okay? He also cooked a lot. He would cook different foods. When I was growing up as a kid, my mom was the main cooker in the household. She would cook a lot of meals as well. We'd go out to eat. I'd try something off of his plate, that kind of stuff. So I remember transitioning out of the picky eater lifestyle very early on. I would, as a kid, eat off the adult menu. I would pick things that other people would think kids wouldn't eat, different steaks and different sides. And I grew up liking vegetables. There was not like a lot of things I would not eat, but there were some things that I was scared of. Like, and even to this day, I didn't like sour cream or things that looked weird. Like I was very much a visual eater. So like if it looked weird, I didn't want anything to do with it. And then as I matured and I grew up, I realized that some of the best tasting things look the nastiest in some ways. Like a lot of different cultural foods as well. You'd look at it and be like, what am I eating? This kind of looks like dog food, cat food, and that's just unfortunately what your mind goes to. Then you eat it or you smell it and you're like, wow, this is like one of the best tasting things ever. So I always encourage other people to try stuff as well. As a picky eater, my timestamp has really expired on that as a young kid. I was always that kid that would go out, and I would go out with other kids my age or older, or even some adults that were significantly pickier eaters than me. And I'm talking about picky eaters in the realm of like, I refuse to eat this. I won't put this on my plate. I won't eat this. I won't eat that. And that also comes with me of like, there's a level of disrespect. I'm not going to lie. If you go out to dinner, a nice dinner, or just out to dinner with people, and you make a huge fuss about something that you just won't eat, well knowing that's what you ordered, that is so disrespectful and annoying to me. And I've gone out with friends that have been that way. I've gone on dates that have been that way. That's a red flag for me on dates, that if we go out to eat and they shame me for eating something that they don't like, that is a red flag.
Oh, I don't like mushrooms. Ew, you like mushrooms? Blah, 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 blah.
I don't give a shit. You don't have to eat them. Somebody that's not willing to try foods is also a red flag for me. So if you're not willing to be like, at least let me try it to know if I like it, that bothers me. I think that's ingrained in my soul. One of the memories that comes to mind first with picky eating is that I hated tomatoes.
Hated tomatoes as a
kid. I didn't like ketchup. I liked pasta sauce. I liked pizza sauce. Obviously we get into weird realms when we're like, well, tomatoes is in all of this shit. Or like if it was cooked down or whatever, I didn't mind, but I hated tomatoes. And my dad, in the household that I was in, that was like sinful. You're going to hell. Everybody liked ketchup in my family. I was the odd one out. I didn't like ketchup. And I still, to this day, can't get behind ketchup. However, I will try it like every couple of years. I'll dip a fry in ketchup and be like, do I like this? And it just doesn't taste any different to me. I don't know if it's because mentally I've shut it out of my mind, but there are some things as I've grown up that I didn't like as a kid that I now like as an adult, or that my palate is widened. But ketchup is one of those that I've still just don't care for. And I don't even think it's gross anymore. It just doesn't taste good to me. Like, not going to yuck your yum. But with tomatoes specifically, we had a garden. My dad, for several months, made me eat a cherry tomato with salt every day. Take a cherry tomato, tiny little cherry tomato. I could cut it in half if I wanted to, which I normally did because then the salt would stick to the thing, and he'd make me eat a cherry tomato every day. And it got easier and easier and easier, and I would fight him on it for the longest time. And then I'd realize, oh, this is just like the routine. Like if I just eat this fucking tomato, then I can get on with my day, get on with my life, and we don't have to fight, or we can spend hours until I just do this. Now I love tomatoes. I love them. I can eat them in salads. I eat them by themselves, eat them raw, eat them cooked, cook with them. I love tomatoes. So I think that part of it is like forcing a palate change to be like, this isn't as bad as you think it is, but like you didn't like it that one time. Also allowing the person to try something cooked in a different way. Like I don't like tomatoes, but maybe if I put salt on it, I'll like it. Or maybe if I combine it with cheese and basil and balsamic vinegar, like a caprese salad, I'll like it. Or maybe I don't like the way this person cooks this way, this fish. I know a lot of people like, I don't like when this person cooks fish this way, but when this person cooks fish this way, it tastes incredible. So really opening up your mind from who's doing it, how many times you've tried it, when was the last time that you tried it, and what is actually real? Like, what are you trying to fake your brain out about being a picky eater? And my example of that is I went many, many, many years, probably up until my early 20s, thinking that I hated peanut butter. Not realizing that Butterfingers are one of my favorite candies, and I've been eating them since I was a kid, and they have peanut butter in them. And it's because one time when I was a kid, I had a PB&J and it didn't taste good. So I just automatically, put peanut butter out of the question. I'm never going to try it again. Then after I realized, after being a stupid fucking human, that peanut butter's in Butterfingers, it's literally in the name a little bit. I went and had a PB&J and I loved it. I now put peanut butter on my bananas. I eat it by itself. I'll put it on a sandwich. I'll dip fruit in it. And it's just like one of those things that you psych yourself out because you think you had that one bad experience, but in reality, it's not. It's not. It's all a mental thing. I also think that about blind taste testing. I think a lot of picky eaters would be less picky about the food they ate if they did not see it first, because they're already psyching themselves out about it. If they know what it is, they're like, oh, I already don't like this, Oscar. and they didn't even get a chance to try it or put it in their mouth or let their taste buds take over. It makes me think of that moment in Ratatouille where they combine like the three things. He's like, close your eyes and let the flavors melt together. And there's like fireworks and shit. That is me. And I became more of a less picky eater when I started smoking weed too. Because when you're high, you come up with the craziest shit that should not be good food combinations that you weren't going to eat before, but you're like, that's the only thing in the house. And then you eat and you're like, this is really hitting the spot. This is everything right now. So picky eating does not exist in my life. It hasn't for a very long time. I try everything. I'm now that person that goes to a restaurant and I'll ask the waiter, like, what is your favorite thing or favorite top 3 things? And depending on their response, I'll get that. I won't even look at the description. I'm just going to give them the go ahead and try it. And most of the time, probably 95% of the time, it's amazing. And sometimes because I'm such a not picky eater that I have a hard time choosing what I actually want to eat because everything sounds good. One benefit of being a picky eater is that you're like, all of this scares me and looks like shit. Let's go to the 3 menu item on the kids menu, which is chicken tenders, grilled cheese, or what? Mac and cheese. Mac and cheese, grilled cheese, chicken tenders are like the 3 staples on a kid's menu, and you ignore the entirety of the delicious menu that you're missing out of. I would say they are the Holy Trinity. You will find those on every kid's menu, and I guess that's the one benefit is you get a cheaper meal and you don't have to really think about what you like or what you don't like. On the opposite end, you're so restrictive of all of the amazingly good tasting food out there. Now, here's the other catch to that. If we go, or me, friends, anybody goes to a nice, like 3 to 5 star restaurant and everything is just like top level chef oriented, you should be more willing to put your comfort into the hands of a professional of that level. If we go to a nice restaurant like that as an adult and you order mac and cheese that's Kraft, I will fucking throw it at you when it's scalding hot and burn your face. Or don't come. Don't come. It's so rude.
You can't sit with us. You can't sit with us!
We go to like a Waffle House, a Denny's, sure, get whatever the fuck you want, okay? It's all the goddamn same anyway. It's all been frozen, barely made from scratch anyway. But don't be rude. Oh my God, don't be rude like that. I'm also that person that is not a picky eater in the sense that I'll look at a menu, especially when I go to get sushi, and I'm like, what's the weirdest sounding name or the name that has the longest pronunciation or the description that is the wildest description that I've never had, and I get it. So a lot of sashimis where it's like, this is North Atlantic, deep ocean, blue trout, mother blue trout, harvested, scaled, and lightly toasted. I'm like, yeah, I gotta get that. When is the next time I'm gonna try this shit? And it sounds amazing. And most times, like, I think very rarely will I eat it and be like, never again. And other times I'm like, wow, this is so delicious. Now, I would say you could categorize picky eaters. We've talked about the extreme, the Holy Trinity extreme of picky eaters. Then you have the group of people that like, I know what I like, and I know like there's some things I don't like. I don't like the taste of broccoli, period. I don't like certain sauces, period. I'll eat it, but it's not my favorite kind of thing. Or, I don't like black olives, but it's on a pizza. I'm not going to pick them off. I'll just eat it. It's not a big deal. So you have that like middle ground where I know there are some things that I don't enjoy, but I'm not going to cause a scene. I'll just deal with it. Or I can easily find something else that I enjoy more. Or then you have that picky eater group that it's texture based. It's not item based. Okay. It's, I know a lot of people that don't like slimy, mucusy textures. And that's like mushrooms, oysters, some puddings and desserts even that have that like not creamy but very like texture, and I love those textures. The more mucusy and the more boogery the item is, I probably will enjoy it more. I think that's preparing me for old age when I don't have teeth, because I love things that have a slimy, puddingy, drippy texture to it. I really do. I love saucy things, stuff like that. And there's some people like, it has to, like, even floppy bacon versus crispy bacon, very much that borderline of like, I don't like the texture of floppy bacon. I need it to be really crunchy, and I would prefer it to be drippingly floppy and like a flaccid dick in my mouth. Oh, that's the only thing I want crispy. is a dick. Picky eating, but you're making, like, you're being proactive about it, I think is completely acceptable. And I do that too. Food modifications, I think, are completely appropriate as long as they're communicated to the server. If I go to a server and I say, not only is it a dietary restriction thing, I'm vegan, I'm vegetarian, no cheese, maybe I'm lactose, or it just upsets my stomach, or hey, no mushrooms because I don't like the taste, or no onions because I don't like the way that it comes out of my pores and I smell, whatever that is, or I'd like to add this, I completely agree in respectfully sending food back if it's a big major issue for you and you're like, I specifically said this. Now, if the food comes to you, you kind of have two options. One is if you fucked up, you should just deal with it and eat it. That's how I feel. If you forgot to tell the server this modification and it comes to you, you should just eat your food. Okay. Or if it's not that busy, you notice that it's not crazy, you can talk to the server and be like, this is totally my fault. I'm really sorry. I didn't even realize or look at the description like I should have that this item was in there. Is there any way I can get it without this? It would make me enjoy it more. And most of the time, depending on how you do it, and if you're mindful of the surroundings of the restaurant or the place that you're at, most of the time servers will do that. And then, of course, you tip them nicer because they're handling it nice as well. But it's the people that pop off. Now, I think that it is not appropriate to pop off of servers for missing food modifications. However, when it comes to allergies, I would probably pop off at somebody. If somebody tells you, I'm deathly allergic to onions, I'm deathly allergic to nuts, I'm definitely allergic to this, and they forget, I would definitely get very frustrated with the server and whatnot, and be like, this could have killed this person simply because of your carelessness or the chef's careless. Somebody's careless in this situation. It may not be you, but someone's careless, and this is really serious. And that would instigate me to be more passionate in my response. But I would say that's very far and few in between. I give a lot of leeway to service industry people. Things that I'm picky eater about. So here are some of the things that I don't like. I've talked about all the things that I will eat. I'll eat exotic foods. I'll eat cooked foods, uncooked foods. They're pretty much every fruit, every vegetable in the planet. I'm not picky when it comes to that stuff. However, here's some of the things that I won't eat. The only item I have never tried in my life in any capacity is cottage cheese. I can't. Maybe this is Jessica Tries Cottage Cheese because I can't get over how it looks. It took me a while to get over how sour cream looked, and then I tried it, and I fell in love with sour cream after I tried it. I don't think that's going to happen with cottage cheese. I think it's gross watching people eat it, and they're like, well, put some pepper in it or put some peaches in it. And I'm like, that's so dumb. That's so dumb. It looks disgusting. I don't have a desire to try it. Maybe I should just suck it up and try it, but I just don't like cottage cheese. I do have a fear of spoiled dairy. I have a major fear of spoiled dairy from throwing back milk.
That's why.
Maybe. But I mean, I eat everything else. I love milk. I love cheese. I love everything. But I do have a fear of spoiled dairy for sure. I think that's because I've thrown back too many milks where they've been spoiled and sour. And then that taste never comes out of your mouth. So cottage cheese I've never tried. I don't like green olives. I don't like raw black olives. I like cooked black olives. And by liked, like I tolerate them when they're in a pizza, when they're combined with other veggies. You don't really taste it, but I'm not going to go to a deli tray, pick out some olives and eat them like I see people do. Or I'm not going to order a martini because of the olive juice and the green olives in it. It's just not for me. I love my condiments. I love me some condiments. I think that'd be a great Queens Who Eat is me doing like all the condiments and trying a bunch of condiments. I would totally do it. However, I don't like ketchup. And I would say that goes into like variations of spicy ketchup or off-branded ketchup. I just have never been a huge fan of it. And that leans into like generic tomato soup. I don't like Campbell's tomato soup, things like that. If it's very like fancy at a restaurant tomato soup or a bisque, love it. But I think that's because it's being made homemade. It's not just from a can. I don't like yellow mustard, but I love spicy brown mustard. I love Dijon mustard, honey mustard, horseradish mustard, different variations there, but I don't like yellow mustard. And I think that's where it stops.
What are some of like the best things that you've eaten?
Oh man, I don't think I could talk on that. That's a whole different Jess talk because I love food. I'm such a foodie. Once I got over my eating disorder phase of life and I decided to bring a different approach to food, I welcome it with open arms. When I started embracing the mentality in the last 3 to 4 years of eat what I want, when I want, how much I want, when I want, but of course I'm mindful, blah, 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 blah. I eat everything. I'm now that person that goes to a restaurant, and if it's a new restaurant, I want to try what appetizer they're famous for, a main dish, a dessert. I'm not even a dessert person, but I want to try everything just to say I've tried it and have like a full opinion on it. I love getting courses. I love drinks. There's not much, again, I won't eat. Yeah, I'm very, very not picky when it comes to, I don't like raw mussels. I've tried raw mussels. I like raw oysters, raw clams, but raw mussels I have not gotten behind yet. There's too much of a fishy texture or taste to it, and I like fishy tastes, but too far for me.
Is it the texture that gets you?
No, I don't mind the boogery texture. It's like eating a loogie, but it's like.
You said that too confident.
I know. That's what it is. Oysters, clams, and mussels are like eating a loogie.
Yeah.
But I prefer cooked mussels. The cold, dry taste to it, fishiness, doesn't taste good to me. Yeah. Not many things that I won't eat. Capers are hit or miss for me. I don't mind capers when they're delicately placed in pastas or salads or garnish, but when they're like so caper heavy, I'm like, this is completely unnecessary. Like too many capers. I don't prefer though. That's a fine line one for me. But yeah, I'll eat anything. When it comes to picky eaters, here's my message for you. If you are trying to grow up a little bit in your life and you're realizing that you're 30 plus years old, 20 plus years old, and you're just stuck in the same routine, and I've met people that eat the same thing every day and try nothing else. I encourage you to widen your palate and your taste buds because food is weirdly universal in the world. Food connects people of all backgrounds, all diversities. Food brings people together in the weirdest, most interesting ways. If you're a parent of a child, I really strongly encourage the methods that my dad used. The try something once. If you don't like it, you don't need more of it. If you get more of it, you have to eat it. So we're not wasting food. But also, you as a parent, show off to your kids if they see you liking it, they see you enjoying it, they see you eating it, that will encourage them to. So if you're going to have the rule for them to try something, do the same thing and make it a game. Be like, I'm going to try this with you. I've never had this. Maybe you have. And that might encourage you to bond with your kid. And then honestly, the tomato thing, I would totally do that to my kids and get cherry tomatoes and say, you have to eat this once. Tomatoes are such an integral part of so many dishes, and they really, really, really do taste good. And they really mesh with so many different cultures. Tomato-based things in general are life. Maybe you won't like ketchup, that's fine, but I would totally do the tomato thing, and I wonder if that would work for other things if you didn't like it. Like, try this broccoli every day, one small thing of broccoli, whatever it is. But maybe don't be so, I feel like parents nowadays are so, this is a whole different Just Talk. Parents nowadays are so lazy and comfortable letting their kids control what they eat. And, oh, well, he won't eat this. Okay, well, maybe you need to push them to eat this a little bit more. If your kid is 30 and the only thing they eat is mac and cheese and hot dogs and chicken tenders, that's an issue. That really is an issue. You can't tell me that it's not. It's embarrassing. So start early. Have them try fruits. Have them try vegetables. Don't always, eating out can be a specialty thing. Fast food can be a specialty thing, but kind of training a young palate to be open to everything, That's my opinions on picky eating. I've talked about it as red flags and dates. I've talked about how it affects me. I will never yuck someone's yum. I'm never gonna, if someone doesn't like something, I'm not gonna push them or pressure them. But if they start getting snotty about it, I will absolutely call them out for it. You know yourself more than anybody else knows you and what you like and you don't like, but don't be so close-minded not to allow new foods and experiences into your world. And that's my thoughts on picky eating. Tell me down below, what are your likes? What are your don't likes? Do you agree or disagree with the things that I said? And baby, we'll see you next time. Bye.
I'm an attention whore. Can't help it, bitch. I'm an attention whore.